idea how long this will
No idea.
record.
No idea.
That freaked me out. That was just too coincidental when I started the other camera. Grandma might be sleeping, buddy. Grandma's not feeling well. Alright, is this... What's up, what's up? So, this will be on YouTube over here, you guys. I'm not showing the phone and everything, but... Live Instagram. Let's get started. Whatever. So, this will be the first week that I'm recording it on my other camera, so it's better quality. Look at that wide screen. Whatever, you guys are gonna see it. I was gonna possibly take another week, but I just can't. I enjoy the time that I get to roll with you guys, and it also forces me to sit for an hour and do it myself. And really, like, I can make stuff release pretty quick, and then hey, this isn't going on YouTube. If you guys don't mind turning your phone. Because I can tolerate many things. A line down my face on the camera the whole time might make me lose it. So, if you're over here on YouTube and you don't follow me on Instagram, that's what this is all about. It's my live feeds every 7:30, but I'll post on my Instagram so you guys can come over. I'm going to try and start doing more stuff on YouTube. I'm definitely going to be, because I'm doing my new grounding video and stuff like that explains a lot more about the science, way more ways to use it, how to preserve it, and things like that. So that's going to be on there because it's going to be like 30 minutes. And that's just so people have one video. And I might just still make 2 videos with the setup and use instructions. Keep it, because those can be really small. So I promised we would do upper body. I've not been working out for 3.5 years and then went back to it. So doing my decompression workouts and everything like that, they were cool, but quickly got old, and then I started to want to lift heavy again. So I can already feel like I've been doing a lot more stuff to like keep my shoulders out and open and stuff like that. But I'm gonna take this off. It's still hard. I've never had the size of a chest as I did in my arms and my back, even when I was like, 30 pounds heavier than I am now. So I've always tried to do that, but hey, that's a big issue for a lot of guys, is struggling with their chest. Then you, on top of it, you've got women so often don't train their chest, don't engage, nothing like that, and then they get into like heavy back exercises, things that are really trap dominant. Like a lot of girls are just crazy and they go and do a bunch of CrossFit now, and I don't mean crazy like bad. I mean, they're just, I've never done CrossFit, because I'm a therapy guy, and it just, I know it can be done right and everything, but I got a massive ego, so I just know better than to go do CrossFit. I do a lot of like Olympic lifting and stuff over the years, just playing around with that, but anyways, women need to always train their chest. Always, like eccentrically, like unload it, like do things like push-ups and close grip, far grip, everything, even if you don't want to do weight. And then just like super slow on the way down. That's the negative on it, on chest, is like as the weight's coming towards you. And then when you press it away, whether you're doing a push-up and you are the weight. So anyways, we're definitely going to do upper body today. I actually just realized I need to tilt this down. So I think, how does it tilt down? It's going to have to be, oh, that's going to be interesting. So gonna have to be like that, watch. I can fix your body, I just can't figure my camera out. So, oh yeah, this is my normal little, so I don't lose all my stuff. So this is the new dude, okay? Oh, by the way, make sure you write me a message. Even if you're on YouTube, you gotta come over to Instagram. You have to message me if you want. Every week we give away one of these for free. So come and take this and use it to We'll do some every session with it, but these are my favorite rollers. A little bit harder, a little bit softer. Not much difference between the hardness. The black is a little bit harder, but that's at Roll Into Fitness. He's good buddy online and everything, and he makes these are awesome. So all you have to do is go to Instagram at Muscle Whisperer Josh, ERER. Some people put Muscle Whisper Josh instead of Whisperer. So anyways, just come over there, send me a message, direct message, say you want in on the raffle. I give 2 of them away every week. So real quick, I'm not going to go through all my toys, okay? Tennis ball junkies. Here it is. I'm just going to duck down because I'm about to lay down. So basically, and I look really funny in this camera. This is the ball that I just picked up. You saw me make some posts about it. If you're on YouTube, obviously, you didn't see me make the post about it. So, and I picked up these guys. So here's the thing. Big ball, big surface area is going to be a lot more pressure you can add to one area. Okay? Little surface area, it takes hardly any pressure in one spot before the muscle starts wanting to spasm. So this is really key for a trigger point in some tiny spots and just resting on it, but getting really acute. That's how you weave fibers and you get through different areas. People don't believe that's possible, which is hysterical. This guy, for all you tennis ball junkies who like to roll with it, this is big, and the beauty of it is, for once, a tennis ball can hold you off the ground. When you're used to like a legit ball, or getting into something like the Hypersphere, this thing vibrates and everything. This is like heaven. So I'm not gonna waste any more time, so you guys can see this. Turn this a little bit that way. This tripod's like cattywampus. Okay, let's start with my favorite. If you guys haven't joined me on this, I think these are like small shirts. Definitely getting to the point where at least I don't like wearing them when they're like medium. Okay, so big problem when people try and start fixing their shoulders is they try, and even when there's somebody who has come across the dynamic that I teach and that many therapists have come to teach now, even fitness trainers and stuff like that, they'll go, even if they do the chest, people go right for the back when they think about the source of the pain and everything. So very few people really get into the armpit. So often you will see people ignore, by the way, get at the top of the shoulder blade right through here in the armpit, and then we're going to get between your arm. You'll feel like you can get above the big bump, and then you want to kind of like, we're going to press up against the bump, and we're going to be pushing it straight down your body here. Okay, that's we're going to be basically everything you do with a foam roller. You take the big knots, basically it's more or less a bound up bunch of energy, and you push into a stretch until it releases. And so we're at the top of the shoulder blade and we're pushing this down, and we're going to push it down out of our armpit. I get on it, I do a little bit of wiggle, little twitch here to add some stimulation. So people say I'm about to come out with a huge video. It's going to be really awesome. So if you go back to my last foam rolling post, there's a guy, he's like Brookstone Institute or something like that. He basically comes on and was like cool about a couple things, and then was just really trying to knock on me about stuff, and then holding things for 2 minutes, this is the dumbest thing, or whatever, it's laughable, something like that. I had to say something really rude right off the bat. And then anyways, long story short, I don't care about that. There's lots of people who do that online. The dude posted a rant about 40 studies on foam rolling, right? And I've seen a lot of studies. I've heard about them indirectly. Thomas Myers just came out with one that says do not foam roll after workouts. And I got hit up like crazy about that. And the truth is, like I tell people every time, if you roll the way that I roll, you would never do what he's talking about in that study, because you're not going to go after an area that's pliable and, softish and stuff like that. It's just gotten worked, which is going to mean it's going to increase pliability in the tissue.
because it's going to feel kind of squishy. And what do I always teach, guys? Like, you should be seeking out the hardest tissues in the body. So when you're on the spot, most people who foam roll with me are like, holy crap, you're still in the same spot. So when you're on the spot, you want to keep, what was I going to say? The only time you want to move, sorry, brain fart. You see me twitch, that's adding a little bit of stimulation. That also makes it a lot less hard to deal with the mind-numbing feeling sometimes when you get onto like a really, really tender adhesion or a trigger point or whatever tender spot you want to call it. The only time you move is when you start to feel it dissipate. And when you do, you just keep following it. This is why foam rolling is said to not work in these studies. So anyways, this 40 studies, I'm going through them one by one, and let's switch spots and then I'll tell the rest of it. Okay. Arm up. How's it feeling? Do you feel any lighter, cooler? Cooler's new blood flow. Lighter is obviously less tension and friction. Always, always, always mirror and match. Always do the other side. Same spot. I don't care if you think you feel it or don't feel it. That's not how the nervous system works. It mirrors everything. It's a meridian, goes across. That's why you can press over here and I'll hit people on their thumb on one side and they're like, is it weird I can feel that in my left toe and my left hand? Anyways, I start going through all these studies again, like, because there's a lot of them. Trust me, I haven't seen. There's 40 of them. That's a lot. But then you realize why there's so many studies. Because they come in with 25 to, say, 50 or 60 people. And they are, so guys, real quick. You can roll forward and backwards if you haven't done this with me before. And your spot's different than my spot, okay? So you basically lean back. For me, I'm feeling just the whole ridge. Hardest thing you can find. We're not on this thing like with our feet up against the wall, putting 1,000 pounds of pressure on it and stuff like that. So you can go right onto what's quote unquote called bone. That can be calcified tissue, hard scar tissue. And then the body will start hardening. It more or less incapacitates the area. So feel free to, as I'm talking, I'm just, it doesn't feel exactly good on every spot, so I try and find things to talk about to talk through it. Anyways, going one by one through these studies, and I'm going to make a big like YouTube video and put the first 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever they let me put on Instagram. And I'm going to show, because it's exactly what all the other studies are. They don't even sound like they understand anything about it. They don't even sound like they do it. They just rule it out because all they want to do, they want to go through and trial and like this process where they go and look through all the articles they can find, and then more or less they, I guess, do this weird disassociation and deletion of anything that they read an article on that says peer reviewed and this is what it is. Okay. One thing was one thing before, and if it was something or it wasn't something before, whether it was something or it was created to be something and that was the first point of it or it was its second step, then things are meant to change. And studies change. That's how science changes. Every one of these studies is they hold a spot for 15 seconds to 2 minutes. And the 2 minutes on the ones, when you read them, it doesn't even sound like they're holding a spot for 2 minutes. They are rolling all over. And then they're literally doing a test and retest. I give the one group there like 4 weeks of 3 to 6 times a week. Wait for it. 3 sets, I believe, of 30 seconds with a 15-second rest. More or less, I think. I don't know if they disclosed the rest or not. Think about how long we sat on 2 spots. It's like I tell everybody, before I even studied anything that had to do with foam rolling and any kind of like people, saying it does or doesn't work or anything, I went through for over a year. People didn't even talk about foam rolling, who did foam rolling. And there wasn't enough of us back, almost 10 years ago to even talk to each other or run into each other. Now it's just commonality. Like, so many people do it. So many people are doing bodywork therapy. Like, when I started doing bodywork, nobody was doing bodywork. So it's like these people come in, and I swear, like 4 weeks of a minute and a half a day for either 3 days a week or 6 days a week. Even if you're doing 6 days a week, like a minute and a half, you stopped every 30 seconds. You're not going to get anything effective. There's not going to be. Look what we're doing right here. I'm following this path because the body's like an onion. You peel back the layers. Like, it's called like nerve entrapment, you know, the fascial weaving, and all this stuff is just basic things to somebody. And the truth is, I know for a fact, like when you go through it, the guy was like, oh, I'm sure you're going to know more than all the PhDs. I don't even care about that stuff. It just, that's the thinking that goes in. Nothing against this dude. I really don't care. I'm just using it as an example for why I like went through, and I'm glad I did. Blessing from above that I ended up doing that, and seeing this guy just gave me like, thanks for doing my homework for me. Geez, you know, you just showed me if more or less there's any articles out there that I haven't seen. So sweet, you just put it all in one spot. So one by one. Oh my gosh, this is, I don't know how sore or stiff you guys are at the moment, but I mean, if you say that doesn't work, it's because what do I say? If anybody who's followed me for years, my famous words are, if you say foam rolling doesn't work, you don't do it for long enough, and you know, don't do both sides, you know, and you're just basically, but it's it. Anytime I've been on we're going to go face down. Anytime I've been on a one-on-one with anybody or people, my clients, so guys, don't get the middle of the roller here, okay? Get to the end of the roller, because you're not going to hold your head like me, or you'll basically do more damage than good being like this for however long it takes. You want to be able to put your head past the roller and just relax, because why? As you're seeking out the hardest spots here, guys, when you get to the hardest spot that you're on, you're trying to press through it. You'll hear me talk about trigger points or buttons. And the longer trigger points have been there, the longer it takes for you to press that button down before it clicks. And typically, somebody who doesn't get anything will get that, you know. Everybody's pressed the red button like at an arcade game or something. Click, and or one, you know, that has a button you press and it goes down and click. And just think, if that button was harder and you had to keep constant pressure on it, then you would more or less just keep pressing it for longer. So same thing, if I go up to all my bodybuilder friends, this is what I was saying earlier, for a rabbit hole and like crazy, and I just lost my train of thought. I'm gonna do that a lot tonight. This is good spots and sore. But anyways, my bodybuilder friends, more or less, I would tell them, I bet you can't do a minute of bicep curls like such and such. And what does most athletes or bodybuilders do? I can do a minute of bicep curls. Are you kidding me? And I'm like, okay, so I don't understand your rationale when you're talking about you can get a stretch to happen in 10 seconds, 30 seconds. I don't, or that you can foam roll a spot and it'll give up in 15 seconds of just massaging it back and forth. Like, your nervous system is a hard disk. It's a recording device. It repeats processes that you teach it every single day. Everything you do in your life, if you sit for 8 hours a day, your body goes, I don't know if it even has like a different kind of rational thinking inside your nervous system that would say it would be out of the normal for it. But your body's definitely going into a protective mode when you shorten your hip flexors and quad and everything for that long, and then try and pop up instantaneously and then go do something different, or get up for a second, walk around, you get some blood in it, and you're finally getting some relief by the time you walk to your car after work. Oh, this is way better. Anybody, can you give me a thumbs up if you're getting some relief hitting these spots across the front? Foam rolling has to be done for a long time. It's just anybody who's not holding spots for a couple minutes at a time like we are here, getting in this tender spots, and then taking a spot, and when you find a hard spot, you get on the top of that. So you're like trying to balance on the point. And you'll feel it when you get used to it. Like, you'll center up on it, and you'll like line the roller up to where it's pushing that trigger point right back into the body, basically, as straight as you can. And it's a different angle for every muscle, because it's obviously the way it built through is different. The way you're leveraging your muscle will be completely different than most anybody else on earth. That's why we have unique heart rhythms. We have, they can even trace that stuff now. Like, there's technology out now that, like, it's probably been done through all the watches everybody wears, and they test billions of heart rates, but everybody has a unique heart rhythm apparently now. It's a pretty fascinating study you watch. But I'm going to post a huge video. The whole reason I said all of this, if you guys hung out with me in person, that's pretty much how I'll talk a lot of times, and bring it all back together. I try to. Sometimes I forget, get too much of a rant. But this study that I'm going to put out, like, on the studies, it's daunting. I'm through quite a bit of them, at least a quarter of them, and I haven't seen more than 2 minutes. Or 4 times 45 seconds with a 15-second rest. It's like, oh, 3 minutes. That's one spot we did, guys. 3 minutes. We'd be holding just like I am right now. This one, you can see how I just shifted to the armpit. So you're either going to be like face down, head down like this, or you're going to be up like this. And this, I kind of like lay my head straight across my traps, and it kind of squeezes the whole area, fires that muscle back through the back. And that's why I ended up rolling back here, because that whole back line starts to fire. Basically, more inside of where we just were on the shoulder blade. And that shoulder blade, when you hit those spots right there, that's why I say the armpit is so important. It unlocks the connection between the front and back. And you'll see how I connect these together when we go to the back and we hit the rotator cuff, which is the 4 muscles that sit right on top of your shoulder blade. Everybody, I used to think it was like a circular thing in here because it's like rotator cuff. I don't know, just assumptive. And then when I studied anatomy, I was like, oh wow, there are muscles on top of our shoulder blade. Alright. Oh my goodness. Oh, did you guys hear that? Alright, cool. So, yeah, let's do. So we're going to do external rotation. Most people really struggle with this. Should be able to get it. I might be able to do it. Kind of hyperextend it. Different. Anyways, you want to be able to get the arm. If you watch this again, my Instagram guys on YouTube, you see just winding it up. You want to get that without having to arch up, and you know, like, you don't want it obviously to be forward, because then you don't even have the range of motion. But you want to be able to control that, feel it all through the tricep, straight into that whole cuff there, right through here, into your posterior delt. Then you got supraspinatus, most common torn one, so I think that statistic still reigns true. But they just sit when you feel your shoulder blade, and take a tennis ball or anything like that. If you've ever rolled that area like we're about to, then you know it can actually get into stuff where the nerve kind of pressure you're like putting feels like it rings in my ears. Okay, so we'll do this. Oh, it's so nice on this camera because it's like twice as wide. And of course, they show the dang video on the new iPhone. It's got 3 cameras and goes extra wide, so it'll get wide like that camera where it can see more even though it's close. And it's like, oh, just had that one for going on a year now, and it's like every year. And I wouldn't even care because they're so good of a phone, but when you change the camera and you put a faster processor, make the editing and everything even better, then it's a phone made. That's why it's called the Pro, I guess. And so on this one, there's 2 things I like to do on this exercise. Pinch my arms together, or kind of like pull them towards the ceiling, like reach them away from you and open your shoulder blades so you can really get the spine to stick out. And then when you get on the top of it, you can do it out here too, press them, reach them wide. That one kind of like, man, you get really good tremble there when you do that, trying to break it up. But up here, you'll feel it. You can actually go on your side too. We'll do, you know, you should feel some big old balls of Just trapped energy and tissue. Oh boy. Alright, go back on the top on that one. Dang. So reach the arms up. Ooh, man, now my spine is sticking out like crazy up top. Go to the left side now. Or right side, left side, whatever side you guys are doing. Feel another good size of clumps of... Oh man, you feel all like the connection through the shoulder blade into the rib cage. Man. Do I need these spots? Oh boy. One more down the middle. So I just kind of like bounce and up and down twitch on the right down the spine. Just stretching the arms up actually pulls that spine to the surface, and then you can get some spots on that. Raising your hips will put more of a direct pressure, but you got to kind of push your glutes down a little bit, even though you're up here. Like pull them down so you straighten your back out, and you can actually pull your back by using your glutes. You can actually stiffen up and pull your back into it, so it'll hit the spine a little more. All right. I can feel like I can breathe. What you saying on here? All right, now we'll do external rotation. All right, here. I like to press my arm down. And you'll notice if you press that arm down like you're rotating it back, try not to straighten your arm, and then you can lean to the back too. And this is where I feel it like there's a golf ball in there. Wow. Oh, that is... If you guys got a spot to release something through there, did you guys feel some lumps through that? Pressing your arm down with your other hand, did it help to kind of expose some of those? Because when you press the arm down, it allows you to like get up under that, as if you're kneading dough, and there's like the lumps that are trigger points, and you just get down through them. Sweet. Brutal. Oh, this one I got a big old... I feel like I got like a half football here. You notice how high my hand is here? So it still does hurt me, guys. 10 years later, 9 years later. Ooh, I just got a big crunchy release. I don't want to go over it. And the muscle, as it's trying to release here on me, it tries to pull out from under the roller. Because it's squeezing like this and contracting, and then it'll whoop, break open that. Oh man, this is crazy. I'm pulling my elbow towards me a little bit. You can try that sometimes. I'm kind of pulling it towards the ground. And then extend my arm back out. There's no rhyme or reason for this, guys. Oh, there's definitely a reason. There's no like method to the madness. I was saying the wrong catchy phrase. But the way you do it is going to be completely different than how I do it. I'm just showing you actions and stuff like that. You got to contort and twist your body every different way. You might You know, I had this guy, like, oh, that's a good spot. I had this dude who was, I've had numerous cases, basically, where somebody comes in and it's like, dude, if you stop sitting like LeBron James in your car, then, you know, I'd be able to fix you. But you work 4 days in a row, 10-hour days, driving a van, and you sit like this, all the way to the side. That's why your whole hip is cocked that way and stuck, and the glute was contracted in the low back, like sciatic issues. Felt like a dagger in his glute, in his low back. I'm like, dude, stop sitting like LeBron James when you're 5'10", and I'll fix you. And of course, guess what happens? Like, he drives good for a month and no pain. Meaning he sat up. You can sit how you want, but if you're getting debilitating pain because you sit, like, then yeah, you sit the other way, equal. It's like women who wear huge bags. If you don't switch it around, ask any mother who's the first time mother of a boy. Or a girl, but I'm saying girls typically are smaller, so, you know, but if a mother's first kid is a boy, like my wife, man, she had to learn how to relive. Besides taking care of him, she'd hold him on the one side, and it would just destroy her. Plastic. And she ended up having to learn how to, she's fortunately really ambidextrous. My wife is like incredible at that. She makes fun of me because she throws way better with her left hand. She's right-handed. On like football, she can chuck that stuff. I almost can't remember when she does it. She'll play with me, and then I realize she's right-handed stuff, and I always do it with my right, and I just look absolutely stupid. And she always makes fun of me and stuff. So she switched arms with him pretty good. Let's do elbow behind the head. I'm basically like this, guys. Need to put the camera up just a tiny bit. You guys can watch this on YouTube, though. Also, remember, guys, anybody who watches this, go to my site. You can get the grounding kit, anything you want. You get a $5 off. Just put the code foam roll in. My website's Modern Roots Life, ROOTS. Living in this modern world and going back to our roots. That's basically what it's all about. So here also, guys, you can pull your elbow this way and pull your stretch this way at the same time. So pressure from both sides will open it up quicker. Man, my neck has been insanely stiff. And it'd be cool to, like, it's nice now that I'm doing this. I wasn't training for so long, so doing it like this. All right, let's do something different because I'm not going to stay on here much longer. What time is it? Yeah, I know, I'll be a few minutes early, but I want to start doing these every night for 15 minutes. Call it the quick fix. But it forced me to come in and do, it wouldn't be 15 minutes. Let's be realistic. 15 to 25 minutes. Call it the quick fix. I'm just calling it to you guys the quick fix. We don't have to act like I'm creating a brand here. But my famous thing of, 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes stretch, basically comes out to 14 minutes. But just talking and transitioning and stuff like that, I'll probably do it, and I'll probably be able to hit 2 spots with you guys. 2 spots every night, and I mean 2 spots on both sides, so 4 spots. On this rolling exercise, I was trying to find it, and so if you got big boobs, then obviously be careful with your chest always. I know most women would kind of chuckle at that because their boobs are invincible, and it's like women can, like, you touch a woman's boob on accident, like, and I'm talking like elbow or something like that, and they'll be like, ah, but then like you go and talk to them about it or whatever, and they're like, oh, whatever. It's like they're not even there. So, but when, if you're busty, press up from here first and roll into it, okay? Always like go out of your way to move around the chest and press into it. Starting on a place that there is no chest, okay? And then rolling into it like so, okay? On here, make sure you can both see me.
you're going to feel it right at the top of your sternum, towards your clavicle. You're going to feel a line straight down the middle. This is not one that I recommend. I would typically be here on myself, okay? But just at first, you can go here and you can basically reach out your arms. Ooh. Reach out your arms and back until you get used to this. You start feeling frisky, like you can handle it, then you'll come up to here. On this one, typically I would never tell you that I actually will rotate my pelvis anterior on purpose, and then it gets just the right angle across it. But most of the time I just kind of prop myself here because I want that forward pressure. If you go up high, it's going to be like more, I don't even know if it's more pressure, it's just a different angle. You can get up under your like whole clavicle, your collarbone. But down here, it puts pressure going forward, like you're pushing, and the whole line that you're working down the front of your chest and sternum, it kind of grabs on it and pushes it into a stretch, which is, of course, what we're trying to do on everything here. You grab those knots and you push in one direction without going over them until you feel them release. And don't do it for 15, 30 to 45 seconds, and think that you're going to get some results. I mean, somebody who sits at a desk for 40 hours a week, 160 hours, even if it's 60% of that in one specific thing that you do the most during your career job, or day-to-day job, I should say, that's a lot of dang time. And it's like, oh no, we can foam roll something and test it. And they literally would set these studies up, and they go, and they're like, boom, and then test it before and after, and they're like, done. 2 minutes, guys. Gets a PhDer to write a whole breakdown that's not even but a couple pages, if that, and it's called a study. And people base their entire lives off of this peer-reviewed stuff nowadays. That's a study. And I'm telling you, when I go through them and you look them up for yourself, you're going to go, what? But to each their own. I'm just going to show you guys. So when people try and fill your head with a bunch of nonsense that foam rolling doesn't work, you just send them. Send them over to my page. I'm not trying to go to war with people anymore, but send them to this video I'm about to make. And I'm trying to learn how to edit better and everything just so I can look at all fancy. The younger generation coming up won't. So this is the next one I want you to switch to. It's going up to a push-up position. You try and get your hands not like this because you won't get any leverage. Close to you a little bit. You want your elbows up. Pulling and holding them kind of up here, and then pulling them back. Like you're trying to pull your shoulders, your actual shoulder joint back, and squeezing the shoulder blades, and you'll feel the spot stand up. Woohoo! That one's gonna make me breathe better. My head just went clunk. Go down a little bit. So, ladies, too, the other side of it is when your chest gets in the way, you can start from here, come down into it, but you also start from here, too, because most of my clients would just pull their chest up and, and hold it while they're going, because a lot of this area right through here and the connection points on a lot of women is really sensitive. The actual breast tissue is punch it out of the way. They wouldn't, they just move it and show that it doesn't feel like any kind of painful, nothing to them. But then to get them right around these connecting lines, that are on some intercostal rib areas and things like that can be pretty dang sensitive, they'll fly off the table. And especially bikini and figure competitors and bodybuilding, and a lot of CrossFit girls from all the hyperextension of the spine. So in the back and the and rounding of the chest here and elongating all that. But so let me change this back. There we go. So
I hope you're feeling better. Oh, dude, the front is money when you do that. What do you guys feel off of that? Did anybody say anything? I'm just not paying attention to you. Oh yeah, the big thing about it too is when you do it, your chest will not droop. The reason women's boobs fall is because the pec atrophies and it's just being pulled on all the time, and the muscle just starts weakening. So if you're not actively hitting your chest or anything, or opening it and stretching it and foam rolling it too, don't expect your boobs to look nice and youthful. It's just not how it works. And so many women would come in Vegas. I was in the land of fake boobies. And basically they would come in and want to get augmentation done again, you know? And I'm like, what is wrong with your chest right now? You know, there's so much of it you're not even seeing, but it'd be all falling, like real atrophy looking through here. And, you know, some of this stuff people don't want to talk about, you know, that's the truth. But there's a lot of women who have chests that are causing them a lot of pain, period, all aesthetics aside. But there's a lot of women who have spent a lot of money on their chests. And a lot of them, with some of the stories I've heard, I don't care how much of a complex you have or whatever, I would never recommend getting your boobs done, ever. And just too many thousands of women have talked to you that just horrific stuff, unbelievable stuff, you know, and it's just a risk you go through. But I'm talking about not taught to upkeep them properly, you know, having to get multiple sets of them, things going wrong, infections and stuff like that. But anyways, releasing that encapsulation on women is sometimes giving the gift of life back, because it has compressed their diaphragm and everything through their breathing, you know, pathways, and they are not living life, you know. They're shallow breathing the whole time. Women who snore and stuff like that, you know, that's a big common thing with women who have very compacted, contracted, chest, especially when it's fake, because you have the natural buildup of scar tissue and everything. But same with guys. I mean, it's evident. It makes no sense why we don't attack our chest when you can see a caved in line here and the shoulders on top of it. Like when your shoulders turned in like this at all, there's a lot of people who are like this and they've got a big chest that's in here because they've done it over time, you know, but their traps are way pulled up over. And the second they start digging these lines out through here and all around, the same thing I just talked about women, it's no different on guys, it's just way easier. There's no excuse for us. But all through this line and all through here and everything like that, you start breaking all of this up, and man, guys' chest is like, for myself, I mean, that's what got me into really into foam rolling. Was it changed things that I like. Straight up, everybody, guys and girls, they get complexes about it, especially when you're into building your body for the aesthetic. It gets to be quite tough to deal with certain things, especially a lot of heavy clients that I used to deal with at Lifetime. They're like, oh, you know what it's like to be skinny. I'm like, oh yeah, you don't know what it's like to have every chick put her head on your shoulder, and it's like, oh, that's bony, you know. It's like skinny people have their own thing too when it comes to it and stuff. So foam rolling literally showed me things that had been imperfections and stuff that just more or less, when I got older, I didn't care about the other stuff I was talking about as much. It just drove me mad. My workouts wouldn't be the same, my pumps wouldn't be the same, nothing. And it was all about the position of my shoulder. So that's why if you see what I just did tonight, front, you know, going through the side first, because this is here, lateral side, you always hit here first. Always hit down the outside of your body. Why? Because tension starts in the midline of your body, and then it works from the midline out and into these spots here. So these spots are the spots that are going to give you the quickest result and the fastest relief. So you release everything through here first, all down the sides, all up through here, and then you work to the middle, because you'll notice most of these times where you guys have tender points all down the middle, calf, middle of everything through that, you watch, it's going to be a big reduction in the pain that it takes for you to do that spot. And if you're feeling a ton of pain through those areas, then hitting outside and here is the way to go first, and then work your way in. Sure, that if this is sensitive, believe me, what's going to happen is you're not going to work that area, and you're going to strip stuff out of here, and it's going to pull more tension to that area and make what you're feeling down there even more sensitive, even more painful. What's this? This is What do you mean Satanism? It's funny. So basically, I do foam rolling with people. You've never been in here, so. All right, let me just get out of here. There we go. Cool. So let me sit over here. Say hello. But anyways, work the outside of your body. You work here with your shoulder issues, straight into the pec. After you get to the side, you do the side, basically unlocks everything through here. It makes it so much easier. The shoulder can come up or go down. Hit it through here, and then same thing that we did there when you're trying to hyperextend. And now I can get this back. Yeah, we'll go back to pelvic tilt next week for sure. It's so crazy. Here. It's like nuts. Take my phone, same spot. It's just when it's sideways. It's a trip. I'll try and stay around this time if I can. What I want to do is I want to start doing, like I said, 15-ish minutes, 20 minutes every day if I can. It'll force me to do it, and then it'll basically help me to just teach the rhythm to people exactly the way that I would do it, the way that I should be doing it. And then you'll see that even if you did 7 days in a row and you're hitting 2 spots, then that's 14 spots in a week. In reality, if I had to guess, there's hundreds of spots that you'll develop. But the thing is, if you hit 14 a week, by the time you get through a month, even if you weren't 7 days a week consistent, you basically would end up having to do way less. A lot of those spots will dissipate by themselves. You start hitting so much of these big trigger points, these big energetic life suckers, and then you'll notice that a lot of the small ones to the medium ones start to resolve themselves because you can move so much more freely. And when the body sees that stability, it sees that release and more things in balance, then basically it's going to be a lot less reluctant to let other things change and shift and go back into place. The body is like a designated driver. It knows better than we do on releasing all this stuff. Can create this straight up ricochet effect. And yeah, if you do any kind of functional stretching, yeah, there's many people. Now there's people getting into different types of stuff. Stretching has become, it's caught steam, so fascial stretching and things like that is becoming a lot more common between people. Me and my wife, Sarah, we want to start doing stuff where we do foam rolling classes and things like that for people. What's up, Jordan? So I hope you enjoyed it, guys. I'm going to post it on YouTube. Just go and type Muscle Whisperer Josh, and it should pop up. I think I changed it to that. I had it as Fit Busters. I just didn't like that name, so I changed it to Muscle Whisperer Josh. How's it going, man? But soon I'm going to put everything over to my Modern Roots one, just to match the whole thing. But that's going to be the parent company. It's just for everything. Yeah, so I can hear them upstairs. Anyways, my brain's somewhere else right now, so let's try and shoot for, if nothing else, I might do one more week and then work this into the schedule. Yeah, Modern Roots. But I'm really going to try and shoot for at least like 3 to 5 days a week, maybe at a minimum. And then we will, there we go. I had my keyboard popped up. Then we'll work from there. Because if you guys were doing, like I said, if you were doing it consistently like that and just quickly every night before bed, I'm talking a couple hours before bed, or otherwise sometimes big releases can keep you awake. Alright, tired. Time to put little man to bed and try and get to bed at a good time. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Love you guys. Praise y'all for you guys. Let me know. Make sure anybody who's watched this, anybody who's on YouTube, go to Instagram,
Muscle Whisperer Josh, and send me a message. Tell me you want it for the raffle. Get one of these or the soft one. At Roll Into Fitness. That's my buddy. And no, I don't take anything for. Anything I use, I recommend it. So have a great night, guys. You're welcome. Have a good night. I'm gonna post this on YouTube. I might find a way to actually like save this and have the scrolling text just running on it. It'd be cool. Have a good night, everybody.